Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things giallo here on The King in Giallo. Our next stop on our journey through giallo cinema is the third and final giallo film directed by Luciano Ercoli, Death Walks at Midnight, released on November 17th, 1972. Well, let's waste no time and get right into it. Here is Death Walks at Midnight. Overview. Death Walks at Midnight, also called Cry Out in Terror, is an Italian and Spanish co-production. The film is directed by Luciano Ercoli. The screenplay is written by Ernesto Gastaldi and Mahnahén Velasco from an idea by Sergio Corbucci. Music is composed by Gianni Ferrio. The cast is comprised of Nieves Navarro, billed as Susan Scott, as Valentina, Simón Andreu as Joe Baldi, Pietro Matalanza, billed as Peter Martell, as Stefano, Claudio Lange as Verushka Wuttenberg, Luciano Rossi as Hans Kreutzer, Carlo Gentili as Inspector Serino, and Fabrizio Maresco as Pepito. The plot follows Valentina, a fashion model who agrees to take part in an experiment with a new hallucinogenic drug. Under its influence, she experiences euphoric visions, only to witness a brutal murder in the apartment across the street. When she insists that what she saw was real, neither her boyfriend Joe nor the authorities believe her. Convinced she's in danger, Valentina sets out to prove it herself, unaware that her determination has put her squarely in the killer's sights. Death Walks at Midnight marks the third and final giallo collaboration between director Luciano Ercoli, screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi, and stars Nieves Navarro and Simón Andreu. The story idea came from Sergio Corbucci, who had earlier co-written Mario Bava's seminal The Girl Who Knew Too Much, 1963, regarded as the first giallo film. That earlier film also involved a drug-induced murder vision, though here, the concept is updated to the swinging 70s, complete with discotheques, wild costumes, and groovy set pieces. Like Leticia Roman's heroine in Bava's film, Valentina is strong-willed and resourceful. She refuses to be dismissed, packs a mean punch, and is far more active than many giallo leads of the period. Stylistically, the film finds Ercoli in top form. The cinematography by Fernando Arribas is rich with visual invention, from stylish close-ups like a victim's death reflected in the killer's sunglasses, to carefully staged wide-angle compositions. Even dialogue-driven moments are photographed with care, giving the film visual flair beyond its murder set pieces. Updating the killer's weapon gimmick first seen in Mario Bava's Blood and Blacklace 1964, Ercoli arms his murderer with a vicious metal glove lined with razor-sharp spikes. The sight of that glove being slammed repeatedly into victims' faces, tearing away flesh in grisly close-ups as blood gushes, is among the most savage imagery of Ercoli's career, adding a harder, more sadistic edge than his earlier gialli ever attempted. The tone balances playful humor with sudden brutality. The sleazier elements of the genre are toned down, but the murders are staged with shocking conviction. Gianni Ferrio's score matches that energy perfectly. Catchy, stylish, and mood-setting. It's one of the film's most effective assets. Ferrio, who entered the Italian film industry as a composer in 1959, built an impressively wide-ranging career. His giallo credentials include Death Occurred Last Night, 1970, The Blood-Stained Butterfly, 1971, and the later Crime of Passion, 1994. But his versatility stretched across spaghetti westerns, Don't Turn the Other Cheek, 1971, spy thrillers, Danger, Death Ray, 1964, Polizioteschi, Tony Arcenta, 1973, and even erotica, Sexy Susan Knows How, 1971. Though Ferrio's name isn't as frequently cited as Morricone or Ortolani, his work here, infectious, groovy, and sinister in equal measure, earns him a spot in the pantheon of great giallo composers. He remained active until the mid-1990s, before slowing down. He passed away in 2013. The cast is uniformly strong. Nieves Navarro commands the screen in one of her signature roles. As Valentina, she projects both toughness and vulnerability, embodying a heroine who refuses to be dismissed as just decorative. Navarro is given witty dialogue, striking costuming, save perhaps for one questionable nightclub hairstyle, and the rare opportunity to drive the narrative from start to finish. Her sparring dynamic with Simón Andreu, who plays the opportunistic journalist Joe, is sharp and engaging. Andreu turns in one of his most memorable genre performances, equal parts charm and sleaze, perfectly suited to the material. Supporting turns also elevate the film. Carlo Gentili gives weight to the weary, skeptical inspector, while Luciano Rossi steals scenes as a sadistic drug peddler whose unhinged laughter cements him as one of Giallo's great creeps. Rossi would soon appear alongside Klaus Kinski in Aristide Massacesi's gothic Giallo nightmare, Death Smiles on a Murderer, 1973, but here he's at his unsettling best. Several behind-the-scenes details are worth noting. The distinctive wooden sculptures crafted by the character Stefano were made by the Japanese sculptor Tomonori Toyofuku, credited as Toyofuku. The Rolls-Royce featured in the film also appears in Death Walks on High Heels, 1971, tying the two Ercoli thrillers together visually. Additionally, the actor Juan Torres, uncredited in the original Italian release, was given a proper credit in The Spanish Prince. The J&B whiskey bottle, by now a recurring visual motif in Giallo cinema, makes a direct cameo, with Andreu's character ordering it explicitly at a bar.
I'd like a J&B, please. J&B. Double. Yes, sir.
Death Walks at Midnight is often cited as Ercoli's finest Giallo. Not long afterward, Luciano Ercoli stepped away from filmmaking entirely, reportedly after inheriting a fortune. Screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi lamented the decision in an interview for the Blue Underground DVD release of Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion, noting that Ercoli's craft was sharpening with each film. Death Walks at Midnight may not have the layered complexity of the very best gialli, but as pure entertainment, it remains one of the most dynamic and brutal of its era. Regardless of where one ranks it, the film represents a peak of his craft, stylish, brutal, and brimming with energy. It may lack the depth of some of its contemporaries, but it delivers pure giallo entertainment with confidence and flair. Between its inventive visuals, memorable violence, and Navarro's commanding presence, it stands as one of the most accessible and enduring entries of the early 1970s giallo boom. Thank you for watching this overview video. As of the time of recording this, Death Walks at Midnight can be found on Tubi and Amazon Prime Video. Don't forget to support these movies by buying them on physical media wherever possible. Stay tuned for my unscripted movie review for Death Walks at Midnight, as well as the Gialli Tally. Comment your predictions for the AZ score for the movie and the final Gialli Tally score. Thank you very much for your continued support. This is Tanner Leeser for The King in Giallo, and if nothing else, I'll see you next time.
Jesus, you jerk, you idiot.
My, we are bitchy today.